Hi everyone, this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this really easy oven mitt. It doesn't take a lot of fabric. It's a great project to use up that scrap pile. So here's how you make it. You'll need the following supplies. This oven mitt is approximately 7 inch by 9 inch. And I highly recommend you use scraps because this is a great scrap buster project. Your cotton batting pieces that you'll need, one 7 inch by 8 inch, one 7 inch by 9 inch. You'll need one piece of Insulbright, which is a synthetic fabric that helps to block the heat. You'll need one piece 7 inch by 9 inch. You'll need a strip of binding that is 2 3/4 inches wide by 42 inches long. And when you're cutting your binding out, leave your fabric folded selvage edges together and cut from the folded edge towards the selvage edge. You'll also need one other small piece of binding, 2 1/2 inches by 7 inches. For your front of the oven mitt, you'll need 2 pieces 7 inch by 8 inch. Your corner squares that are also on the front, you'll need 4 of them, 3 1/2 inch squared. And your back section, you'll need 2 pieces, 7 inch by 9 inch. If you're not sure how to cut out your fabric quickly and efficiently and accurately, then click on the link in the upper right hand corner that says Tips for Cutting Quilt Fabric. Take your 3 1/2 inch squares. You're going to draw a line down the center. So place the ruler corner to corner and draw a line on all 4 of your squares. Place the squares in the corner as you see them here, and you want front sides together of your fabric. Stitch on this side of the line, the one closest to the side where the corner is. Don't stitch on the line, but right next to it. So you're going to stitch on this side of the line here and this side of the line here. After you've done your stitching, place your 1/4 inch line on your ruler on your stitch line and trim all 4 corners off. Then after you've trimmed all 4 corners, open and press the corners towards this seam. The next step is to layer all the fabrics. So place your fabric for the back section. Place one of your pieces of fabric with the front side, the pretty side, down. Then your Insulbright, and then your cotton batting, and then your last piece of fabric on top. For the front section, layer your fabric in the following order. Your fabric for the back, place it pretty side down, front side down. Then put your cotton batting on top of that, and then your front section. And place pins all over the top. Okay, take straight pins and place them everywhere. Then you're going to do some decorative stitching. You can either do straight lines going across and then up and down. All right, that's one option. You can also do them going at a diagonal, stitching corner to corner. I chose a decorative stitch pattern, which is a wavy line. I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe you can see it better on this side. So if you have decorative quilting stitches, you can also do that. So at your sewing machine, I recommend that you use a walking foot. And if you use these, it's going to make it much easier to do your quilting stitches. You've got multiple layers here because we're going to be stacking all this together pretty soon. This walking foot is going to help to prevent the layers of fabric from shifting. If you don't have one, you can go to a variety of sewing machine supply websites or your local sewing machine store, and you can even go on Amazon.com, enter the words that you're looking for, your model number of your sewing machine, and that you're looking for a walking foot, and a variety of options will appear. This piece of fabric is 2 1/2 inches by 7, fold it in half, and press it with your iron. Then place the raw edges on your front section along the top edge. If you have a specific top edge, line it up, then go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch seam along here. After stitching across the top, then fold it towards the edge, and I like to press mine with my iron because then it folds over really nice. Then turn it over to the back and fold it over. You want to make sure that this folded edge of this binding strip comes past the stitch line along here. So pull it down below there and place pins across to hold it in place. Then after you've finished pinning across that top edge there, then you're going to stitch in the ditch. And that's where two pieces of fabric come together, and you stitch right in that little seam right there. Take your front section and place it on top of the back section and line it up at this lower edge down here. Then do a machine basting stitch close to the edge on these 3 sides here. After you've done the basting stitch, then take something round, a small lid to a jar, anything that you have that's round, and you're going to place it into the corner where it touches both sides of it, and then trace around it. And then do the same thing in this corner here. And then go ahead and trim this off. Up here at the top 2 corners, just round them just a little bit, just so you can get these little pointed corners off. And then of course go ahead and trim it off. Take your long binding strip, fold it in half, and press it the full length all the way down. At one end of your binding, fold the edge in 1/4 inch, and then place that end of the binding at the top center of the oven mitt. And place pins along here. When you start getting around to these curved corners, just do a little tiny slit, not very long, just maybe 2 or 3 of them, and it will be easier to pin this around that curved edge, so it'll lay a lot easier. So you're going to continue stitching all around this edge, anywhere from 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch. And then when you get down here to this next corner, do a few little clips on this corner too. And then as you get around here back to where you started, then stop right in here. Don't stitch over this yet, just yet. So you've stopped right here where the other piece of binding was the starting point. Now you're going to bring that tail out here like this, and you're going to count out 4.5 inches and then cut the rest of this off. Let me move this over so you can see it a little better there. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5, and trim it off. Have the back side of the pot holder facing up, and you're going to lift up one layer of the binding. You're not going to cut through both layers, just one. Lift it up. You're going to cut about 1 to 1.25 inches from this raw edge. Now don't cut all the way to the folded edge. Stay back about 1/4 inch and then trim across this way. So you should have a square cut out that looks like that. Fold this end down here over about 1/4 inch and press with your iron. Fold the raw edge in towards the center and press it with your iron. Then fold in half and press again with your iron. Fold the binding over to the back side. The folded edge of your binding is pulled below the stitch line here. Make sure it's below and pin it down. Go around the entire edge and pin it. When you're at the corners, you might have to place a few more pins there just to get it to lay there nicely as you're stitching. So after you've pinned it, after you have pinned around all of the edges, then turn it over onto the front side and you're going to do stitch in the ditch. So you're going to start on this side stitching. So stitch in the ditch, that's where the fabric here comes to meet the binding fabric. So don't stitch on the binding, stitch right next to the binding. Stitch all the way around, and when you come to here, to the center, stop. I am in the center, so that's where you want to stop. Now turn the pot holder like this and pull this edge, your end of your binding out, and you're going to slowly stitch up over the top and along the two folded edges here. So make sure this is all folded up. Whoops, I had it on backwards, sorry about that. And begin stitching up over the top. And make sure these two pieces or folded edges are coming together. And continue stitching on down to the end here. When you get down to the end, stop there and leave your needle down, lift up your presser foot, turn it, and then stitch across that end. And then you can take it out of your machine. Take the very end and just push it around like this and put it underneath to where it's going to look like that. Flip it over to the back and place a pin to hold that end in place like that. Then you're going to stitch right over the top here, and you're going to just stitch a little square or rectangle shape up here at the top edge. Now remember, this is all really thick right now, so you should have your walking foot on because it's going to really help. So just go ahead and stitch across the bottom and then turn it and stitch up towards the top edge. Turn it again and stitch again, and then turn it, stitch down towards the bottom edge, and again stitch across, and then do a few back stitches and then tie it off. For more oven mitt and pot holder projects, go to the end of this video where you will see a green screen and click on the links. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on thumbs up, and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Enter your email address, click on that little bell so you receive email notifications about my latest video. I'm Cheryl, and I'm so glad you came to my sewing room. See you next time, and happy sewing!